Hello, everyone. Hi, girlfriends. I am so excited to be here tonight. My name is Allie, and I founded the Girlfriends Club several years ago. And I am just surrounded by incredible girlfriends and this rich community called the Girlfriends Club on Facebook. All of you have touched me in so many different ways. And these past few years have been a culmination of ups and downs in my life. And for those of you that have been following me and know a little bit about me, I'm a native New Yorker. I am in the publishing industry and I am the mom of two young adult children and a beautiful golden doodle daisy. And I'm just touched by the outpouring from all of you who've asked me to show my face and tell my story. So I decided to launch this conversation called Girlfriend to Girlfriend. And basically, we are going to be talking, real truths. And I thought that I would invite one of my favorite girlfriends in the world, Jane Hansen, to join me. And we want to just, sit down, talk about what the heck's been going on in this crazy world. The pandemic has certainly touched all of us in so many different ways. And without having, the conversations that we normally would have, we've been leaning on each other through Zoom and different Zooming lifestyles, right, Jane? So everyone say hi to my girlfriend, Jane Hansen.
Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to see you.
You look great, as always.
Thank you. Thanks to good lighting. I once got this T-shirt from Patti LuPone, the wonderful Broadway star, and the T-shirt said, "If all the world's a stage, I just want better lighting."
Well, I need some better lighting. We're gonna have to work on those tips.
She did a Vita. She's such an amazing person. But anyway, we should invite her on.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's a girlfriend.
Exactly. And that's why we're here. So we really want to, talk some girlfriend talk. And I want to get to know, everyone in my community and share with you, we've all been through something, especially these past few months with COVID. And I try to post every single morning something that's uplifting, and sometimes they're maybe way too uplifting or they're funny, but I try to give everybody a smile and a laugh. And
where do you find those things?
Well, all over the place.
They are hilarious, and some so brazen. I'm like, wait a minute, where'd that come from?
Well, some of them, I have to say that I've got a lot of people helping me out. I get, probably 4 or 5 during the day. They're like, "Oh, I thought of you. You have to post this." So I have been doing the Girlfriends Club on Facebook for 5 years. I have gone through a lot of quotes, but probably the one that launched the whole inspiration behind it was the very first one I put up, which was on October 5th, 2015. And it said, "Life is short, buy the shoes, drink the wine, eat the dessert."
Oh, you mean this one?
I mean this one. Yeah. And so this quote resonated with 13 million people around the globe. So I loved the quote so much that I decided to make t-shirts, as Jane was showing you hers, and this is mine. And I wanted to invite anyone that is tuning in right now that if you direct message me on Facebook, the first 10 will receive one of my t-shirts. So please send me a DM and then I'll grab your address from you at a later time. So anyway, life is short. And I think we've all, like I just said, we've experienced so much during COVID. Things have changed. We're working differently, we're living differently. The narrative is just something that I never expected to live through. And for those of you, I guess I jumped into Jane, but for those of you that don't know Jane Hansen, she was a news anchor here in the New York metropolitan area for many years on forever on NBC. She's interviewed
104.
She's interviewed presidents and ambassadors and popes, bishops.
Guys in prison who wrote me love letters later.
There you go. So you can imagine how humbled I am that she's sitting here with me. But, during this whole, situation, Jane and I really have been striking up some very interesting conversations, and we realize that everybody needs someone to lean on, and not everybody does, right? Not everybody has somebody
That
to lean.
is so true. But you know what we have? We have our girlfriends. Now you were really lucky because you have 5 sisters.
Yes, I do. Yes.
I have no sisters. I have brothers, and I was surrounded by male cousins my whole life. Um, so the one thing I wanted more than anything in the world was a sister, and I kept asking my mom, "When can I have that sister?" And so for me, it's always been about girlfriends and girl cousins because they were always
Yes.
really important to me too. But there's nothing like a girlfriend. And in fact, before we got ready for the show tonight, I had a really early dinner with a bunch of with 3 women that I literally they are new friends, and we just began talking, and we were laughing so hard that literally people came over to us and they go, "What is going on?" Because that's just what happens.
Yeah,
It's the coolest thing in the world.
it
There's
really
a
is. And
connection between women that can happen so instantly and so fabulously. I love it. I
I
just
do
love
too. And like you said, I have this rich sisterhood. I have 5 sisters. Unfortunately, I lost one of my sisters to breast cancer in 2009. And that was, certainly so traumatic. And I really I miss her, but we were always like the dynamic 6, right? And we keep her alive and in our hearts and in our minds. But the amount of secrets that she died with, I would give anything to hear, because I know we all confided in her.
What do you mean? Like your secrets and your other sister's secrets?
Oh,
Everybody
absolutely.
talk to her? Because there's always one, right?
Oh,
There's always
she
one.
was the keeper of it all. And she was a lawyer and a judge. And she was just a great listener. So she was a role model for me. And that's, so important to be a listener, right?
Can I just tell you that I have a lot of secrets too of people's? I have so many secrets. And as a journalist, because that's what I have been most of my life, secrets are the kind of things that you want to start reporting on. And I just, knew that secrets that came from girlfriends, that was it.
Yeah.
Vault is
Yeah.
closed. And you
100%.
can't get it out of me no matter what. Torture
Mhm.
me, I don't care.
You're
But where does
100%.
that come from, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, it's so interesting because like I'll be sitting in the waiting room of a doctor's office, sitting next to a woman, and she'll lean over to me and she's like, how's your day, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden she's like vomiting all this information on me, and I'm like, holy crap, you just gave me like all your secrets. I think it's because if you're a good listener, and being a journalist like you are, you're a good listener, and people find comfort in that and trust, right? And just like this conversation, when I came up with the name Girlfriend to Girlfriend, that's really what this is, right? We always get our best advice from our girlfriends, in my opinion. You can go to a doctor and a therapist and they can help treat what's ailing you, but it's your girlfriends who are going to tell you the truth, steer you in the right direction, smack you on the head, take you out for a glass of wine, make you look in the mirror, make you stand up straight. I mean, I have had this. I was out with my close girlfriends last night, and it's always like, what are you doing? And, we all take off our facades, our work facades, right? We're all still in high school when we sit down. It's like,
That's so true.
but that's just how it is.
So I had this group of friends for a while. We haven't done it in a couple 3 years, but we used to call it Naked Wednesdays. And way on the east end of Long Island, and it would be on Wednesday nights. We would get together and we'd go swimming in the hot tub. And the deal was you had to take your clothes off.
Oh,
It was truly naked. And it's not like there was anything weird going on. It was just that once you strip your clothes off,
yep.
it's like the whole world opens up. And we were sworn to secrecy. You can't talk.
Love it.
Things that were shared were just, there were nights where I'd go, I'm go home now. I can't take it anymore.
And it's like, for real, sorry about that. My dog Daisy really wants to try to get into the conversation. Another girl in my life. But I think that's so cool.
Naked Wednesday.
Yeah, she was like, I'm over here, I'm naked. So that's really interesting, as you start to peel back the onion, right?
Uh-huh.
Literally.
Because you had you had no jewelry on, you had no fancy clothes on, you
Right.
were being judged by the way you look necessarily, because, you know, everybody's hair was up on top of their head. You know, it was just you in your native package.
There's a lot to be said for that. And I think that there's so much vulnerability there.
Mhm.
And I know was it dark? It would have to be pitch
Of course it
black.
was. I mean, you know, the light was on and there were some candles and that sort of thing. But no, of course um, but it was also we always did it in the summer. So where the light is much later.
Right.
So,
Right. So you really enjoyed it.
and there could be, you know, sometimes bright moonlight. It was really fun.
So that's really interesting. So what kinds of conversations went on? I mean, I know you were saying that you were sharing secrets and stories, but I mean, did you learn things I know, that were just stupefying to you, that you were just like, oh my gosh,
I
or
think what's so interesting is that hear, you think that somebody's got a completely different life than they have.
yes.
And I know that's true a lot. We think that, like, for example, we might think somebody has a perfectly wonderful, happy marriage, and all of a sudden you find out they're separated. And you're like, what the hell happened?
Yes.
Or you find out that somebody's child has got an issue you didn't know about, or maybe maybe they've got a career challenge, or maybe they want to go back to work, or maybe they're like lusting after the pool boy. I don't know. It was all kinds of stuff. And you just realize that everybody's got something going on that they may not reveal to most people they know, but in that very vulnerable moment they did.
Interesting, right? So and it's not even peer pressure.
No. Oh God,
It's
no.
just this comfort level,
Hmm.
of being able to go there and share,
Hmm.
and the trust that's involved. I like you. I mean, I have had my doorbell ring and girlfriends standing at my front door saying, "Can you help me?" Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm divorced twice. I've been, down the aisle twice. I still believe in marriage. I believe in that, in the union of a couple. Um, but you went through two difficult times, and I had one of my girlfriends who I thought on the facade had it all perfect. And she rang my doorbell, and I'm like, "Hey," and she's like, "I need your help." And she, was just all teared up, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And she had her little guy with her, and she's like, "Can you watch him?" I'm like, "Absolutely." She goes, can you lend me $100?" I said, "Absolutely."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Okay, are you okay? Are you okay?" She's like, I will come back and we will talk. I just need this." And I never in my life thought the words that I heard coming out of her mouth would be
You were there.
that of abuse, and just a very difficult situation. And, holding that inside and wanting to protect her, and wanting to protect her to the point where, we didn't want her husband to know that she shared, obviously, with me, or that she was at my house, because she was, just afraid for her child, etc. So, you start to peel back, and then you start to hear more of the stories, right? And there's more confidences. And it's very difficult. Women, we go through, all people do, all humans do, right? We all go through our challenges. And like you said, the marriage looks rosy until it's not.
Hmm. You know,
Every
the wonderful thing about this shirt, when you talk about buy the shoes.
Mhm.
So,
They're comfort.
well, so one of my very, very best friends died of um, colon cancer almost 5 years ago, almost about the time you started this. But one of our last adventures together was she lived out in California. And so we were at Bloomingdale's and they had a shoe sale. And she and I collectively probably bought about 14 pairs of shoes. And I'll never forget it because we're looking at each other and she's like, I don't know if I'm going to live or die, but I like those shoes. And I went, well, I don't know what's going to happen to me, but I like those shoes. So we kept buying shoes. And when we walked out the door, the salesman's looking at us like, what is with you two? And it was just It was one of the most freeing moments. I know it sounds really stupid, but it was one of those freeing moments of her life because we thought, we just buy the shoes. We can
Yeah.
do it. And who cares? And I just, every time I look at that t-shirt, I think of her.
Oh,
Because she's just
and
one of
it's,
the most wonderful, best friends I've ever had in my whole life. And I miss her every day, just like you miss your sister.
yeah,
But you also think about that moment when we knew, we felt, hey, here we go. We're
yeah.
just, because life is short and hers was too.
Very short. And for some reason, shoes really solve a lot of issues. Shopping, why is that? Let's go for lunch and go shopping. I only have an hour, maybe forget the lunch and let's go just go shopping. But what is it about the retail therapy that just feels so good?
Well, I have several theories about it, but one of my theories is that when you put something new on, whether it's lipstick or mascara or a pair of shoes or an outfit, it makes you just somehow feel better about yourself. My mother, I was reading the eulogy I wrote from my mother today because I was sending a part of it to somebody. And my mother was a clothes horse. She loved clothes. And I remember that she told me not too long before she died that she spent the last $15 when she first married my father in her checking account on a dress. Now imagine buying a dress for 15 bucks.
No.
And actually I still have that dress because it's really pretty and it's a long, 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 long time ago, right? And anyway, and she goes, your father was so mad at me, but then I put it on and he said, you look magical. And I thought, wow.
Worth every penny.
Exactly. So I'm just saying that clothes, and I do a lot of work with people in the fashion industry and now the tech industry, and they're combining it all, and it's really cool. There's something about clothes and how we feel about what we're wearing, what we adorn ourselves with in every single culture all over the world.
I
Think
agree with
about,
you.
think about those beautiful women in Africa who wear the ornate jewelry and the headpieces and all that stuff they put on, and they are so beautiful. And when you can see their spirit. And then you look at like women in India, the same deal. And wherever you are in the world, when they've got something that makes them feel beautiful inside, it's just astonishing.
So are you a complimenter of women?
Absolutely.
Because I'm a huge complimenter. I'm like, oh my gosh, you look, and I'm also very honest. So
I'm
at the
sometimes
same,
not that honest when it doesn't look good. I'm kind of like, yeah,
well,
it looks okay. I
being
like,
the youngest of
I did
six
really well.
girls, being the youngest of six girls, I've learned how to take that honesty. But like, that's what I talk about. Like,
Between you and me. But anyway, go on.
a girlfriend is going to give you the truth, right? Is going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I'm a big, fan of telling people that they're beautiful or telling a man that they're handsome. It never gets old on me. And I love it because when you deliver a salutation like that, people are just like, oh, well, like, wow, really? And it makes you feel so good. It's like, it's a hug, right? It's a verbal hug.
Especially now.
Yes.
Now we need
Yeah.
all those virtual hugs we can possibly get.
Yes.
But no,
Yes.
I couldn't agree with you more because honestly, I constantly say to people, ugh, I love, I love that blouse, or where'd you get that ring that's so pretty, or whatever it is, because I really actually am interested. I really do. I appreciate what, what they've got. I just think when something looks great, why not tell them? Or when they look great, or sometimes when they walk and you're like, wow, I love your posture, because I'm a big body language person.
Absolutely. I mean, I think anything. So one of the things that I wanted everybody to walk away with from tonight, was understanding that, the Girlfriends Club, we're all about, paying it forward and supporting each other. And one thing that I would love everyone to do if into perpetuity is pay it forward with a compliment. It
Agreed.
doesn't cost you anything, and yet it will make somebody just feel so good. And it lasts. It's like, oh, well, they thought I was really pretty, or, there's nothing wrong with that, right? And like you said, especially today. So, how is everybody coping out there? This is a really tumultuous time. We've been in lockdown around the world, around the world. This is unprecedented for months. This is how we're communicating now in a society where we've all grown to shake hands and give hugs and kisses, and now we're dialing it back. And I will never complain again about going to a work event or a banquet, because I miss people. I miss people.
You know what I miss? I miss the smiles.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
when you're out and everybody's wearing a mask, I miss that so much because I love to smile. And, in my coaching work, I'm always telling people how smiles translate. They translate through a telephone, they translate, I mean, they're universal. Come on, when you've gone to a foreign country and you don't know if you're connecting or not, and then somebody smiles at you and your whole world just goes together. So with the masks, we can't see people smiling. We can see through their eyes, but we can't see it, on their face. And that's what I really miss.
I do too. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, right? So hopefully in the next, what are they saying? I believe Pfizer said within the next 10 days, this quarter, there should be a vaccine, and maybe we'll all get to see our smiles and lipstick again. I have never saved so much money. Let's just review this for a second. I was a big lipstick wearer. And now it's like, oh, I've gotten used to
Yeah.
What did you tell me to do? That's my girlfriend, Jane. Don't you have any lip gloss? Right before we went live. You have any lip gloss? Honey, I need more than lip gloss. Let's review. But in any case, like I said in the beginning of the show, I'm going to be sending out 10 of my t-shirts to the first 10 folks that send me a direct message on my Facebook page, The Girlfriends Club. DM me, and then I'll shoot you back a note and you can send me your address. And I want to thank Jane for joining me. And we will be back next week.
Can I just say one thing though?
Of course.
I think it'd be really, really good if people DM'd you and said, here's what we'd love you to talk about. Because I know we've got a million subjects, but I love to hear what people would like to talk about. And we can bring in experts. We can bring,
we can.
Between you and I, we know everybody in the world, not everybody in the world. And we can have these great conversations. It'll be so much fun.
Yes, and it's true. So yes, let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about. I think next week we're going to try a different night. So we started Tuesday. Maybe we'll try Wednesday next week until we settle on a time. Be on the lookout for our little memes that'll go out starting on the weekend to remind you to tune in. But I think we're on to something. So from girlfriend to girlfriend to my girlfriend, thank you everybody in the Girlfriends Club community. Really appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next week. And remember to pay it forward, one compliment at a time. See you next week. Thanks, Jane.
Bye.